Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the CyberGamer Advanced Warfare Championship Series CGP League Winners Bracket Final Match here between Plantronics.Mindfreak and the Faction AU. I'm Myksta, and joining me for this one will be a maniac. A maniac, first of all, how are you doing on this fine evening?
It is an excellent Monday night. I'm very excited for some serious Call of Duty competition, Myksta. As you mentioned, we are here in the Winners Bracket Final of the CGP League, and I am pumped for this one, Mike. It's been a little while since I've been on the mic, especially with you, my friend. So very psyched to get into it.
So am I, and unfortunately we do need to have the host end the game due to one of the players not being able to enter the game from the Mindfreak team. I think that was a little bit premature from the hosting team of the faction, because Mindfreak are like, well, we didn't really ask for it to be ended. So a little bit of miscommunication there somewhere along the line, but it gives us a little bit of time to talk a little bit more about this match. Now, once again, it is the Winners Bracket Final. It is Plantronics.Mindfreak and the Faction AU, and you might be wondering, why is it 1-0 on the scoreboard, and why are you starting on Search and Destroy Detroit? The reason for this is because the match was actually started last night. That was the first hardpoint map that was played. Just confirming quickly, it was a hardpoint on Detroit as well, and it went in the favor of Mindfreak. Now, unfortunately, there was a lot of technical issues that happened with the Mindfreak team's player CGAWCS, and unfortunately, just wasn't able to get there and continue that match at that time. And then the faction had to go as well. So they're resuming this match today, and they're getting on for this one with the guys from. With these guys ready to get into the action. Between these two, though, even though the first map is in favor of Mindfreak, I can't call who will be able to take it out. And with a match as important as this one, $1,200 on the line, guaranteed if you win, it's definitely good to have matches up in the air like this.
Yeah, of course it is, Mike. So, of course, the Faction versus Mindfreak, two of the powerhouses of Call of Duty here in the ANZ scene. We're here at the pointy end of the CyberGamer Pro League. And of course, the Faction, as we all know, with some recent announcements, unable to attend events such as ACL Brisbane due to those 15+ rules coming into play. So, of course, this would have to be one of the most prestigious events that they could still enter, Mike. So they, of course, want to take this one out and putting them in a very good position to go into the grand final here of the CGP. Look, I mean, we always throw around predictions and stuff, and I won't necessarily get that out of you, Mike, but I just want to get your thoughts on how both these teams have been playing so far within this competition and indeed outside as well.
Well, throughout, you can look at it from two different ways. You can look at it from just the finals, or you can look at it from the actual entire season of this league. Now, from the finals itself, I can actually pull up the bracket for you in just a second. You can see it there on your screens now, apart from you, Josh. You're going to be a little bit unlucky, but I'll walk you through
That's right, I'll fly blind.
In Winners Bracket Round 1, you had Mindfreak taking on Integral Nation. Mindfreak were able to take out a comfortable 3-0. We saw that on the screen. They'll take out 3 maps in quick succession, easy to get their way started. For the Faction, they were able to take out a 3-0 as well. That was against Avant-Garde. So both teams waiting in this matchup last week, they took out 3-0s. They haven't dropped a map, and they're ready to rumble here in this one. Now, round 2, once again, the Faction already dropped the first map, and I'm not exactly sure of what the scores were for that, but, that's still a map to Mindfreak in a best-of-5 series. Now, in the losers bracket as well, I just want to point out that it is currently Integral Nation taking on Avant-Garde, and I do believe that match is playing on tonight as well, and that's really elimination round, because if you lose, you're knocked out. If you win, you've guaranteed yourself $400 and at least gotten yourself in the money. Now, back into a little bit of a update into this match. We are just still waiting on one player, it seems, to join up into the game, and we should be getting into this one itself. But as I just stall time to get into the overall standings of this actual game, we do have Mindfreak sitting on...
stalling, Mike. We're entertaining.
Yeah, you can use it that way as well. We're sitting on Mindfreak with, I do believe it's 12 wins and 3 losses, which is totaled up. Of course, the only losses that they actually have had, I do believe, I am 100% or 99% sure that they've all been forfeit losses due to some scheduling issues, of course, when they went to COD Champs earlier on. So I don't believe they've actually lost an actual match, and yeah, I am correct on that one. So they have dropped 2 to both teams not being able to play, and then dropped 1 due to a forfeit through to those times, but they haven't actually dropped a match that they've actually played. So that's definitely impressive, and out of those overall games, that's definitely a good accomplishment. The Faction, however, are currently sitting on what it says 11-4, and I'm just checking if that's quickly entered, as of course forfeits don't actually appear on the page. So with that, they have lost 3 matches out of those 4 losses, actually sorry, 5 losses out of actually playing them, and then the two remaining out of forfeits as well. So they've actually dropped a couple of series, and the Mindfreak haven't, so that could be towards their edge. But looking at those statistics, what are you feeling?
I mean, well, look, both teams obviously looking very amazing. Mindfreak would have to be favoured one, just going by statistics at least. But with that said, the faction, they've got to be hungry for it. These boys, they can't do much else with their core 4. So this is the competition where they really want to put their foot down and show that they're still a force not to be messed around with here in the Aussie COD scene. Myksta, I couldn't pick it right now. I couldn't pick it. Now, there have been a couple of scheduling problems with Mindfreak in the past. You did mention champs and everything. But if that wasn't in play, would you still think they'd have a flawless streak throughout this competition? I'm kind of leaning towards yes, which makes me think it'd be a very dominant game for them here, but I'm not really sure which way I could go.
I'm thinking it would have been a yes as well, and I mean, with so much money on the line here for these matches, I think they would have continued that streak. However, it's already gone right now, and you can't really reflect back on it, because can they not have their matches that they did forfeit against was against Integral Nation, against the Factors, and against Defying History. So there's a couple of hard hitters there in those ones, and you really don't know. Only one of those 3 teams are actually in the finals, and you already see Mindfreak already having defeated them here in the finals as well. So that might speak for itself. But overall, we do have a 60-second timer here, and the reason behind that is to allow Shoutcast to actually be able to have enough time to spawn into the game. That's always going to be a great help, and hopefully it does work in that regards. So we're back onto our old ghost timers here with the 60 seconds, but I'm feeling it. It allows us to get the hype going on. And Maniac, Shoutcast is connected. We should be good to go here for Search and Destroy Detroit. $1,200 here on the line in this match, and that's only for the top 2 placement. That's placing second. First place will, of course, get $2,400, but that's next week's matches. I'm so excited for this match. I don't know who to jump on board with.
No, I couldn't pick it either, and they both want that dollar, boo-boo. They're going to be playing for it, and I guarantee they're going to be bringing their A-game. Good to see Shoutcast is actually coming to the party on this one. And as you mentioned, that long timer, it does take you back to those ghost days. Just checking through these guys and seeing what they're running at the start. On the attack, we're going to be seeing the young guys from the faction, so we'll start up with them. And in fact, we will jump on with Swifty. He's running OBJ, and he is rocking that Thermal Moors.
Got to keep in mind that there was a Call of Duty update as well just recently, and it might have changed a couple of things. We do know the ASM1 has been changed, but and that's definitely a favorable weapon here for these guys. But there's going to be some other hidden differences as well, and in a match such as critical as this, it'll be interesting to see those changes. Luca will be able to take down Fido, and we did have Dens drop early off as well. Swifty moves over to this B bomb site to get this bomb down. Now he's 3/4 of the way there. He's able to get that one down, and now Mindfreak, Buzzin, and Shoutcast will fight in a 2v4 situation.
Yeah, obviously they've got to fight against them, but Shoutcast is going to go to work. He's rocking that IMR, taking down Barney. 2v3 right now, as you can see there with your COD vision. All 3 players from the faction are inside here of school. One to his left and one to the right. He saw one dash across. He's going to spot him. Not good enough, though, and taken down. The faction is going to take out the first round here fairly convincingly with 3 players still up. So 1-0 your round count to start things off. And Myksta, that was, pretty straightforward for both teams there. Mindfreak, well, indeed, the faction as well, both having to do their little bit of warm-up here, but the faction looking pretty textbook off the start.
They are, and I mean, they're ready to rumble. They lost the map last night. They're like, you know what, we had a little bit of a break. We can gather that back and gather that fighting spirit and go back to this. You pointed out earlier, Mindfreak, if they didn't forfeit those matches earlier on, of course, to unavoidable circumstances, they might be on a clean streak right now, not having dropped the series. The faction, what better way to beat a series and guarantee yourself top 2 in our CGP League than beating that team with first seed? I mean, into this competition itself, they're first and second seed respectively, so that just says it all. I was on board with Shoutcast. He just narrowly missed a sniper shot there over onto the containers there at the main street. He's just going to be just sitting back over in yellow. Luca will be able to take down Fighter, so he's the first one to drop, and Buzzin will fall shortly after, thereby Swifty. So once again, a 2v4. This time, Dens will have a crack at being alive as well, but you look at the positioning here, Dens going to be the last one alive, but Dens will take down Swifty, and he's going to see another one, but he's going to fall, and that's going to be 2-0 to the faction. The faction looking incredibly strong right now.
Yeah, this is a great start and exactly what they need going here to this S&D. Obviously, game 2, first game was played yesterday, Mike, for those who didn't catch it. And as you can see here, Luca cleaning up that final kill cam. Too easy on Dens at ASM1. Maybe low on rounds now after this patch. Not going to matter if you get those first 3 into the oppositions, though. So heading into round number 3, the faction going to be back on the attack. They took out the first attacking round. Let's see if they can do it again.
I'm going to be looking at Luca, who's currently going 4-0 here in this match. Blue's also going 2-0 as well, so they haven't even died yet. Swifty's going to pick up this bomb as per normal, and they're going to be pushing over this A side. Now, Luca will just push past over onto this green side. He's going to contest back here as his teammates are contesting at the alley. He's just going to be dashing everywhere. He'll be able to pick off 2 kills. Dens will shut him down, but that 2 kills has opened up the entire market. They're going to be pushing forward into green right now. Swifty's going to be looking through the side. You got other players looking through the main street as well. They're cornered back next to the trailer. Shots do go out as Swifty goes to contest this one. He spots this one, but there was a player behind as well. He's not going to notice and pay attention to that, but he's going to be chasing this kill. Now, Buzzer will take down one, and he's looking hungrily for this kill right now. Swifty, 1v2 situation. This could be a huge clutch or a much needed round for Mindfreak.
Mike, that was such a ruthless push there by Swifty to go into the van here. Of course, he went straight past Buzzo. It was just COD timing, looking towards inside green instead, and Swifty's going to catch him off guard too. Taking down Buzzo, making it a 1v1 situation. He does still have the bomb in hand, so he doesn't have to track that one down. All he does have to do is watch out for Dens, who's playing the sneaky beaver role. He does have that IMR with nothing else in his back pocket, so he doesn't want to be caught off guard at a close distance. Now, Swifty, he is doing the sticky play, tries to get the bomb down. He's going to be challenged here. That IMR not going to be good enough at first. No matter, though. We saw Swifty going back out to challenge when he was damaged, and it's going to go in the favor of the IMR wielder. That's going to be Dens picking up that one. The first round at that range. Did you see there on that kill cam, Mike? Usually we'd see that a one burst kill on land. We would have at least anyway. But hey, that's online for you. Not to matter though, he cleaned it up at the end, and now Mindfreak are on the board there in round 3, picking that one up, and now they are going to be on the attack, looking to even things up.
No, it wasn't even about the burst itself, just the fact that Swifty was able to get out of there, then he pushed back for the contest, and then Dens was able to finally shut him down. You look at this next round though, Mindfreak are going to be on the attack. You got Buzzard watching over with that Moore's thermal scope over into that school stairs. You're going to be having Fighter right now at the back here of the yellow window. Of course, he's got his teammate Shox there pushing up as well over the alley. He tries to go for the shot off, but he will miss it and will fall to Barney as Fighter will take down Luca. It becomes a 3v3 situation. You see blue here on your screen over on green. Buzzard will fall there by Swifty, and Barney is right next to those school stairs. But there is a player from Mindfreak in the school itself, and that's going to be Dens. You see these players rotating, but the player I want to keep an eye on is Swifty, who's pushing over through this car park, and he's about to spot one. He's about to take down Fighter. That's the bomb down as well, and Dens is all alone.
Yeah, it's all about these guys right now and their scopes. Barney and Swifty picking up some early ones going to work. And, of course, Swifty picking up that 3rd kill of the round as well. As you mentioned, leaving Dens the only one left alive. He does have a scope of his own right now. He's trying to do what he can, but left all alone against Swifty, Blue, and Barney. I know I wouldn't want to be in his position right now. I've just over with Blue. He's going to get the shots out. Heavily tagged. Dens still staying alive, though, and taking down Swifty as well. What was that? He's on his 3-point streak, 1v2 right now. There's a player in the window, didn't spot him. How are you alive right now, Dens? He does the reaction fire through the window, tries to dash away, finally taken down. Dens was Iron Man right there. He was just surviving shot after shot. I thought he was down on Atlas. Then I was like, nah, he's definitely down outside the window. Nah, denied once again. 3rd time's the charm, though, for these guys as Blue gets those long-range ASM1 shots out to take him down. And now we're going to be seeing these guys halfway to victory here on this Detroit S&D. 3 rounds to 1. Mike, this is the kind of action we expect from both of these A-class teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's 3-1. It's still anyone's game as we enter into round 5. We've got the faction on the attack. Swifty with the bomb once again, watching over to the school stairs. But look at the Mindfreak team. They're pushing aggressively here on this A side. And we've got the player highlighting him now, Fighter, who's pushed already back into this Apex. Now, the faction didn't really bother them that much. They're pushing over to this B side, but they are aware that there is a flank going to be happening. And that's why that player, Buddy, is there watching that flank. Now, Fighter goes to contest and he falls to his knees as Barney shuts him down. Luca will also pick off a kill there on Shox. So once again, Mindfreak in a familiar situation, but not a good one. 2v4 up against the faction.
The faction just looking so strong right now. I got to admit, while you were going through that, Mike, I've actually been on board with Dens for quite a while, rocking this IMR. Now, Dens, the player, you usually know him as one of the primary slayers of Mindfreak, usually rocking the ASM-1. In this case, he's gone over to this assault rifle, obviously the IMR, the burst weapon. He's able to put it to use, so still surviving. Got tags there on the player going back out towards Courtyard. That was going to be Swifty, who was taken down, leaving Blue, the only man left alive. He's right down in that middle street. That's not where you want to be caught out, and with plenty of time left, the guys of Dens and Buzzo from Mindfreak are going to easily get the defuse to now make it a one-round game once again. But to backtrack a little, Mike, I must mention, although Mindfreak took out that round, I really feel the faction are looking like the dominant team, at least in the first half of this S&D. Mindfreak were able to come back, but I don't think that was them playing overly well. I think the faction just dropped the ball a little bit in that round.
You know, you say that, but you looked at the teamwork from that last round. You had Dens and Buzzin, you know, they got the shots off. Instant reactions, by the way. And then they were able to just communicate perfectly to be able to rotate around the map. You saw Dens in the schoolyard. He got a shot. That player rotated. Buzzin spotted him. He called out. Dens instantly rotated, picked off the kill. That was your final kill right there that got them that round. And, I mean, they're still coming in this game. They might have needed a little bit more of a warm-up, a little bit more of competition practice here in this game to just get into the groove. And the faction, they might have been playing a little bit longer throughout the day. Who knows? All we know right now is that we're in round 6. Buzzin got dropped early. It's a 3v4 situation now. Dens has this bomb. Shock's got the nade kill there on Barney to even up the numbers, and they're pushing B.
Yeah, after Jumpin' Jack, Buzzo was taken down early. They really needed that kill to even things up, so lucky they did. Swifty now trying to just do the sneaky nades into the school here, because obviously there has been a B plant. One player went out the back, down the stairs, spots the player still on the bomb. That's one there, Swifty picking it up. Another player died in the background, so you got Fighter all alone. A Fighter not playing to his usual standard, currently going 1 for 5. The man still warming up, tries to peek through the window, picks up one, tries to 2. That's 2 right there. Can he get 3? Oh my God, Fighter, I was feeling you there, buddy, but unfortunately, feels weren't enough. You're going to be shut down. Blue jumps in to shut it down and then pick up the defuse as well, making your round score 4-2. I love that play there by Fighter, just going real aggressive through the window, almost picked it up, and that reaction shot on the player in the corner, Mike, that was really impressive stuff.
It really was, but I mean, I thought when Fighter fired those first bullets and connected, I thought he had that round. My heart stopped for Fighter right then. And I mean, you got to give credit to Blue for just staying composed there. His 2 teammates dropped. It was the last one under pressure, and he got the round 4-2 though. Round 7 right here as we have Swifty once again with this bomb. You see him highlighted the map over onto that 18 mark. Now Blue, he was pushing up, and I was on board with him, but you know he's going to be looking to maybe let his teammate do the pushing, as you can see highlighted through there. You know, those players are looking to push aggressively here once another. They want that early pick. They want that early control here on this A side. It's going to be a little bit of a gunfight here between Shox and Blue over on this alley. Swifty is going to be joining the fight there as well with a little bit of a nade. Luca will take down Fighter as Dens shuts down Luca, and Blue will shut down Shox. 2v3 situation, but the 3 make that 2v1. Buzzin' all alone. It's tricky rounds here, but you know this next round can't give. I mean, you don't want any team to be up 5-2 against you.
No, of course, and Buzzo, the only one left alone. The pressure is on him with 30 seconds left. Swifty over there with the bomb, and he's going to be getting that down. So, of course, going to be interested to see how Buzzo reacts now that he knows where it's at for sure. He was watching the other bomb site, so pretty easy to tell where they were going to be. He's just watching that street now. He's going to be straight up the front stairs. Needs to watch his back, though. Player hiding in the corner, picks it up, and no! Oh, he got these shots off first. But that barrel is just not going to be good enough at that range. He's going to be outshot by the player of the faction, giving them the lead here. 5-2 with that ASM1, the subby. Too good at range, but look how ready he was. This guy was on his way down. That was his last move before passing out, Mike, and it was a lucky move indeed. Now 1 round away from victory here to clutch this S&D on Detroit. Can they take it? They are on the defense. That is the question on everyone's mind right now, as we're going to be seeing Mindfreak on the attack.
They're all very twitchy right now. All 8 players in this game, they don't want to lose. They don't like dying, and they want to get these kills. Buzzin takes down Swifty, saving Shox's life. He's bleeding for life right now. Spider will also shut down Luca. So it's a 4v2. They've got the numbers, and Buzzin will push on forward here as his teammates will cover him. Denzel shut down Blue, so Barney's going to be the last one alive. Barney not having that great a game, 3 and 4, and And he's going to turn things around with the double. Shutting me up right here. Picking off 2. He's got 2 more to go. Bomb is down. He's going to be jumping into the schoolyard. And you can see, of course, he's got the ASM-1. He's got the Moors as a secondary weapon as well as he enters in here to this school area. He will get shots there on Fighter, I do believe, as he does have Buzzard around the corner as well. Gets these shots. He will be able to take down Buzzard. 20 seconds left. He can test out Fighters there. And the shots. Oh, whoa. This game, I have no words for this game. This game has just been intense on the back of intense.
I nearly fell off my seat just then, Myksta. That was such an amazing play by Buddy. He picked up 2 kills so fast. I was almost feeling the ace, but he just didn't look over fast enough, and Fighter was able to pick that one up, keeping the pulse there for the guys of Mindfreak here in this S&D match. What a match it has been so far. 2 rounds the difference. Mindfreak hanging on by the skin of their teeth. They are now on the defense as well. That pure aggressive push from them in the last round is what saved them. It was nearly shut down, of course, by Barney, but he's going to be dropped early in this one. They don't want a repeat of that, so going to be very interesting to see how it goes, as both teams right now have 3 players up. Now, as I say that, Luca was struck, but in return, Buzzo taking a fall as well. I'm still on with Fighter right now as he picks up Blue, leaving Swifty, the bomb carrier, the only one alive. He's only 1 kill away from getting his double digits in the round and joining his teammate Luca. Rips out that scope, gets the tag, not able to pick up the kill. Mike, he's going to be challenging this one. It's pretty ruthless. He needs to watch himself. He's going to be flanked, and just like that, Mindfreak now make it a 1-round game. Apologies there, Mike. You didn't get a word in. I got carried away with myself. The excitement of this match is almost too much to handle.
That's completely fine, but, you know, I just wanted to point out, Fighter, you look at him getting this kill on Swifty. Now, Swifty was a little bit late off the break. Yes, he jumped over the glass and he was getting those shots off with that sniper. However, he had to rotate back for the bomb because no one actually picked that one up. So the reason he was so far separated from his team and wasn't in the action when his team was dying was because of that fact. So by the time he rotated forward over onto that, A side, his teammates were already dead. It was in an impossible situation, and unfortunately wasn't able to make anything through, even with those tags with that sniper. We're entering into round 10, and here's where things get interesting, because I said a couple of rounds ago, you don't want to let the faction go up 5 rounds to 2. Now it's 5 rounds to 4. Now Mindfreak on the attack, and they're playing well. If you tell them not to make any mistakes, they won't make them. And it's all about the faction being able to just stay on top of their game for 1 more round. Swifty takes down Buzzin as well to open things up. Round 10 here, Maniac. 3v4. Can Mindfreak stay in this map?
I mean, if anyone's going to do it and clutch the win, it's going to be Mindfreak. They've got the experience, but the faction, they're the new hotness, man. They got the youth, they've got the talent. Luca picking up another one and showing exactly what I'm talking about. Demonstrating the skills that pay the bills right now. Tens! He's going to be challenging with this IMR. He does have the backup of Shox, who's pinned in the corner right now. They are the only 2 players left alive, and as I say that, Den's left all alone. Trying to wrap it up here. The guys from the faction are going to be taking it. 6-4 is your final round score. Mindfreak just outplayed here in this S&D on Detroit. They played valiantly. As I said, these kids, the not so new kids on the block now, but these young guns of the faction, able to prove they've got what it takes to hang with the big kids. 6-4, clutching that map there, Mike. So what an impressive game from both teams.
I mean, let's recap what we saw. We had the faction open up early. By the time they were done with their opening play, it was 3-1. Mindfreak, then tried to get a couple of rounds for themselves, but it just wasn't working. It became then 5-2. Couple of rounds later, 5-4, and it was still a close round, and the faction narrowed it out by the end. I mean, you look at Swifty, 10-7, 12-8 for Luca as well. Big kills on the board, but their teammates Blue and Bunny 6-5, 6-6 respectively. They were doing what needed to be done to help with that, and of course you got to note Swifty with 3 plants as well. For Mindfreak, Den's on 10-8, 6-9 for Buzzin, Fighter on 7-8, 3-9 for Shox. Now, what I do need to note is, regardless of those kills, they were making those plays, they were pushing forward, they were using that teamwork, their communication was on, and they were doing what they needed to keep this game close. They were playing a losing battle though from the beginning, and they just didn't really go in their favor. I mean, they weren't taking things out. They were losing their advantage. They were making a couple of mistakes, but being the first game continuing off from today, they have plenty of time to even things up. Remember, they won yesterday, so this only evens up to a 1-1 scoreline. Now, Maniac, I don't know about you, but I'm not going to any breaks. I want to continue this game straight out, and we're going into Uplink comeback next. Now, we do need to join into the lobby, of course, so we're going to keep entertaining as we get into that one. But, Maniac, were you expecting that for a map number 1?
No, well, look, I mean, I guess I was, but I expected a bit more time needed for both teams to warm up, at least. But look, they were straight into the action. Mindfreak a little bit colder than the faction off the start. They bounced back with those couple of rounds before, of course, the final round where we saw the guys from the faction just finish things up there in our 10th round, 6-4, your final score. They played so amazingly well, and you've got to give a shout out to... Well, I guess it's a bit unfair to call out any one player since they all played amazingly well. But I mean, typically I saw Swifty there going to work a lot of the times with that scope in his back pocket as well. Luca, always a freak, we know. And something to point out as well, Mike, is that all of the faction went positive, or at least there was one that was on even KD. You know, we don't talk about KD really winning games and blah, blah, blah. So much controversy on that. Won't even get into it, but I mean, it's a clear indicator of how these guys are playing. But Barney, I think, if I did choose one, Barney was just a freak throughout that entire map. I mean, I know I wouldn't want to go up against him, but now, with the series even up 1-1, and we are heading into this comeback up league, Mike, I dare say, Mindfreak want to come back with a vengeance. And of course, we do know comeback uplink, one of their favorite game types. So I think we could be seeing a map-for-map series right now.
I think we might, and I mean, I couldn't be more excited for that fact. I want things to go down to the wire. There's $1,200 on the line here, and this is only the winner's bracket final of our CGP season. I'm excited for it. The team players are loading in right now, so hopefully we have no issues. Still 60 seconds on that clock, but that's the time that we need for you guys to go tweet it out, go just plug out this stream and get more people watching this incredible series right now, because it is a match to remember at the end of the day. We've had these maps go back to back right now. Mindfreak with the respawn, faction with an S&D. We've got Uplink right now as the 35-second mark ticks on over. Still hoping for Shox to just connect on into this game as well, if he'll be able to maybe do so. But, you know, I'm going to take that time to tweet it. So be sure to go ahead on @CGAWCS and retweet that tweet, or just tweet it yourself. And, of course, use the hashtag CGAWCS, which is something I didn't do, but, you know, I'm going to let myself off the hook with that one.
Just only once,
okay,
though.
There you are. You're back.
We all only get one. Something to be pointed out is that Shox didn't actually join the match, so it looks like these guys are going to be potentially... No, yes, they will be ending the game right now. So hopefully we're getting Shox into this one. And again, Mike, hopefully we'll be able to stay ad-free. I'm at least assuming, pending if he can get here on time. So our series, just to mention for those of you who might be just tuning in now, is 1-1. We saw our first game yesterday go to the guys at Plantronics.Mindfreak. It was delayed until today. For all of your enjoyment who are in the stream right now, that S&D on to the guys of the faction. They played amazingly well. And let us know, as Myksta just pointed out on Twitter, make sure you tweet it @CGXboxAU. And also let us know here in the chat what you're feeling about this game, who we expect to be Shreked and who will do the Shrekking here in this comeback uplink match. Once we eventually get it started, Shox is a little AFK right now. But, you know, he's just warming up. He's cracking the knuckles, Mike. He's bringing his A-game. Just warming up on the sticks, buddy. That's what's happening right now. Hopefully he'll be getting into a game and we'll get the action started pretty soon. But for those of us who don't know, Mike, how about you just run us through these prizes once more and how these teams might be walking home with some cash?
Okay, so in our CGP finals, we have 4 teams. 4 teams that have made it through out of 8. Now, in this, it's a double elimination bracket, so I'm explaining a little bit more of the format. But we'll get into the prizes as I explain that one. Now, with this, they've already passed round 1. They're now in round 2, so they've guaranteed themselves at least $400. However, these teams, all it takes is one more win, and they can guarantee themselves $1,200 for a minimum second placement. If they win that one, if they win the grand final, they can go forth with a prize of $2,400 for first place. Of course, that's still split between 4 people. Maybe 5 if you want to give some to your sub as well, but that's still an incredible amount for these teams. And they've played basically 2 months, 2.5 months for this action. It's the final moments of our CGP season, and I mean, it does seem like these guys are just still getting their host ready, but inmaniac, we have plenty to talk about, regardless if it's on Advanced Warfare or not. The Black Ops 3 reveal happened earlier today. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, there's been a lot of activity on Twitter, and I didn't touch my controller, but apparently I was not in broadcast mode, so I'm going to be having to touch on this for a little bit. I just want to say that there's been a lot of activity on Twitter over a lot of people excited over the trailer. I myself was very excited as well. I kind of like just the cinematics of the trailer, not even touching on the game itself, but it's good to see that they're not backtracking completely. I think it might have been something that you mentioned, Mike, so it looked like there's going to be some cool abilities in the game. Pretty psyched to see what happens, and of course, as always, the millions of tweets you see, guys, I want to pick up a team, let's get a team ready for Black Ops 3, we're going to get super, and I love what that does when a new game gets announced. It reinvigorates the scene, so I'm pretty psyched to see what can happen with it.
So am I. I mean, the main points, I haven't really had a chance to have a good look at it. I saw it briefly while I was at work, but basically, from what I gather, I can have an arm that transforms into a gun. That's pretty cool. I can run on walls.
That's pretty cool.
I can run on walls, right? I always love that feature. I can still, use the best movements out of, Advanced Warfare with the jetpack, dashing and all that. And of course, I still have my general Black Ops feel to the game as well. So I'm personally going to be loving it. I want to pre-order. I want to play that beta that will come out, with the game if you do pre-order it. I do believe 2 months or so. I'm not 100% sure on that, but around that mark. So it's got a beta, which is something pretty cool and something new to the Call of Duty series as well. But I'm really excited for this and for esports in general to grow with the Call of Duty franchise. It's really going nothing but up, and I mean. And our skill factor in our teams. I mean, two times now we've gotten 2 teams in the Call of Duty Championships in the top 6. I mean, if that doesn't show anything, if the games keep on going better, I mean, the future is really limitless.
No, it really is, Mike, and I can't wait to see what these guys do, especially a couple of reasons for this. We know that these players that are in the top teams, the players, especially in Mindfreak, they were unbelievably skilled at Black Ops 2, or in fact even prior to that, Black Ops 1. We know how well they play that game. So going on, if Black Ops 3, the mechanics of it and the way it plays, if it's anything like Black Ops 2, now that they've got their core 4, they've got Dens in there who is just pure skill, old 9K Dens, I mean, I just see a great future for this team. Black Ops 3, I mean, if and when there's a Call of Duty Champs in 2016, I mean, expect these guys to go far. I mean, if they can get, top 6 this year amongst the competition that they did, outplacing a team like Optic, I mean, you said, the future really is limitless for them in competitive Call of Duty.
Yeah, not only that, but, speaking outside the international mark, the Faction AU, I mean, a lot of the events this year, 15 plus. Most of them under 15. Next year is going to be a bigger year for them because they'll be able to compete in all the events possible here in our region. And I'm really excited for that. And of course, I think they're a little bit disappointed that they can't prove what they currently have been showing in both online and previous existing lands that they've been allowed to in the upcoming ones. But I'm excited to see how these guys really stack on up as I am receiving updates. From these 2 teams, of course, still having issues with that, with technical issues with the game. Still, something's on up, so it is still a little bit of a delay. But these guys are just still, keeping their game up. They're playing a little bit of a free for all, and they're still trying to keep their shot up so that once the player does rejoin, they can continue straight away from that one. But I'm really excited for the remainder of this season, and there's multiple reasons for that, but the main reason why I'm excited for the rest of this series, we have not only Uplink comeback, but we've got capture the flag retreat, and then if needed, search and destroy on Riot.
I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. I'm more excited if we can get this comeback Uplink started, because as I did mention, we know that Mindfreak really loves this game type, but have to wait and see. And of course, as you may have mentioned, Mike, in the background off stream, we do have those other guys playing for in that losers bracket game. And of course, one of those teams are going to be coming home with $400 guaranteed cash. Do you call it coming home? I guess not. They'd probably be at home.
Well, they're already at home most of the time, I'd assume. Unless they have like some secret team house that we don't know about.
It's a colloquialism, all right? We're going to run with it. But, you know, of course, it's pretty impressive stuff. And, you know, if these guys can make bank off the competition, we would love to see that. That's indeed what they'll be doing. So, Mike, that's about. I think that's all we've got.
It really is a struggle to go with this, but
you know what I'll mention? No, I got something, Mike. I got some. If you don't mind me plugging,
go for it.
May not be CyberGamer related. For those of you who do not know, ACL has recently announced its cast off. Now the cast off doesn't work like the cast off you guys may have known. It's not really a competition of sorts. Really, it's an intern program. We're essentially reaching out to the Australian, New Zealand Call of Duty community for our next lot of casters, the guys that'll probably supersede us, Mike. If you guys out there have an interest in casting or something you think you may be good at, there is a form for you guys to fill out. You can either search through the ACL Twitter, or I'll try and get to the link later and I'll post it in the chat when I do eventually find that. Essentially, yeah, if you've got an interest in casting, you don't need any experience at all. All you need to do is hit us up, tweet at myself, preferably at ACL inmaniac, and link me to something that you've casted, or just cast over something. Give us a go. Give us a look at what you're capable of, or at least show us a little bit of your voice, and we might hit you up, and you could be the next caster here at ACL. So it's really exciting stuff. I just want to say that if you don't have experience, please don't be put off by it. Everyone starts somewhere. My first event, I was thrown straight up on a main stage at a live event. So that's just what happens. So yeah, basically we're reaching out to customers. We've had a lot of applications already. We've had, I can't give you guys the exact number. I can tell you that it's over 50.
A lot.
Across all games. It's been quite a lot. And, you know, it's really good to see that kind of that result from the community. And that many applications. It's been really, really good. There's been, by the way, Mike, just between us, there has been some amazingly talented casters come out of the woodwork. People who I've never even heard of before, who have not only amazing voices, but just amazing knowledge of the game. So I can't wait to see what these guys can do. And, you know,
just between us, just between us.
Just between us and the stream and everyone else who may watch this on any kind of rebroadcast and wherever else I'm being listened to.
So in other words, everyone.
Look, I'm trying to get our point out here that we may see one or two at our ACL Brisbane event. That event, for those who don't know, is going to be May 30th, 31st at the Edge at South Bank in Brisbane. And we've got our full announced page over on aclpro.com.au. A little bit of cross-promotion there, Mike. Hopefully you don't mind, showing a bit of love to and fro. But that's where we hope to see you guys there. And Myksta, I believe, may or may not be showing a little bit of a guest spot there.
Yeah,
if not,
we'll have to see. You know, it depends. I have to look at my schedule.
Depends if I'm lucky or not.
I guess it depends if I'm lucky or not. But it's okay. No, just kidding. Flights and accommodation have been booked before you even released. Before you even released your actual full announcement details. That's how keen I am for that event. And of course, you know, I'm just keen in general for some quality Call of Duty. Now, you mentioned your cast off, and I didn't really want to interrupt you then, but I do got to point it now. Now, I'm still a little bit disappointed that I technically can't compete in it because I know it's not a competition, but I still wanted to do it. I mean, but yeah, I got denied. To clear it up in the air, my cast off application was denied, so I didn't even make it into round 2. That's my rating in the overall Mike, casting world.
Considering you're the Jedi Master in stage 2 of the cast off, it's kind of hard for you to judge yourself and see if you give yourself the green light. Plus, speaking of technicalities, you are technically a semi-professional Call of Duty caster, so I don't think you're going to be a legitimate entry for the cast-off program. But I tell you what, Mike, I'll do you a deal. If you want to be an intern, you can be my intern. Welcome, you are now my Padawan Myksta. Pretty sure you can teach me more than I can teach you, but
that's debatable.
But you're now my Padawan.
I have great news for you, inmaniac. I have great news indeed. We have 10 players in this lobby.
Oh my god!
10 players in the lobby. Now we are waiting for them to start the game. They can do it. I believe. I have faith for them to start and continue on with Uplink comeback.
Better jump in that broadcast.
And we should probably jump into that broadcaster mode. That will definitely help. And it was probably our fault with that one. But they haven't started just yet. So I'm going to go with the benefit of the doubt and say that no, it was not our fault. And just conveniently, when they started our free faller, we just had to get kicked out. So that is okay. And there we go. We are starting the game. So it may or may not have been our fault for the last minute or so, but that is okay. That is a risk we're willing to take to make sure things got sorted smoothly, and we are ready to go here for this Uplink game. It's the 27th of April. It started at 7:30 approximately, so we're an hour in for one map with the technical issues, but that's okay because this is a game you want to wait around and see.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be worth the wait indeed. Come back, Uplink. Said it probably a few times before, but Mindfreak have been known to dominate on this game type, but the faction, they are an immensely skilled team. Of course, Luca, Swifty, Barney, and Blue making up that squad up against Buzzo, Fighter, Dens, and Shox, who we will hopefully be seeing joining in a little while. While we've got the time to go through it, we're going to be seeing Buzzo rocking that AR as we always see. Nothing else in the back pocket. Shox is in. Guys, celebrate. Round of applause. Shox is in. Gotta love it. Fighter, Shox, and Dens all rocking those ASM 1s and just checking out their perks really quickly. Hardwired is going to be with Fighter and Dens. Obviously, a big help in Uplink. You don't want those stuns and the EMPs getting in the way. Looking at the other side of the table, Luca, Swifty, Barney, and Blue. It's going to be Barney and Swifty both rocking the ARs. They got those bows out, and I'm just going through their perks right now. It looks like none of them are going with the hardwired or flak, so hopefully they're not going to be seeing too many stuns or EMPs come out of the hands of Mindfreak, but as I can go through them once again, I do see a lot of them do have that in hand right now, so expect those to come into play as we're getting straight into the action, and Myksta Fighter is going to be picking up first blood there before being dropped himself.
Going to be seeing the drone just be running around through the sandbags here. Two players going to be contesting. Shox does fall. Swifty picks up the ball. He is trying to stay alive. His teammates are there to support. He'll be able to throw the ball out to the map. But look at that kill feed just lining on up blue and red here. Kills trading across the board. And the ball has been reset here down to the glass. Ali Den is going to be looking to pick off kills. He'll take one. He'll take two. He'll get taken down. But Shox will answer back and go for a little bit of revenge kills. And you look at that. The entire team from the faction have been taken. You mentioned about Mindfreak being strong in this map. This just proves it. They're going in for those points. The ball past the Fighter. Fighter goes in for the alley-oop. He'll be able to get it. And that's 2-0 to Mindfreak.
Yeah, and look, that was such a perfect play for them. They got 2 points on the board. Played it really well in about the first 45 seconds, able to get that one through. It was a perfect play by Buzzo to throw it off to the player that was just there waiting for it. Now, both teams trying to establish control of the map right now. I'm on Blue as he just picked up one, then gets the headshot on Dent as well. He's got a teammate in front of him under fire now from Glass. Gets the tags out, still maintaining his life right now. He's going to be running around past green right now, jumping up the top. He's probably going to throw this over to yellow, and indeed he does. He's going to get the rebound. He picks it up and gets a kill on Shox. He's currently on the 3-point streak and getting the first point on the board for the faction. Excellent work now, as you may expect here. He's going to try and lock down this glass area. Picks up another kill. Player up high. He picks that one up as well. That's Buzzo taking a fall. So that was Blue getting 5 straight kills and the first point before being dropped. This is why you don't mess with the guys from the faction.
We're going to be looking at Shox now, trying to run through. He's got 2 players to contend with. He's going to go for this throw, and he'll be able to get the 1-point throw in, making it 3-1. 3 minutes still on this clock as the ball goes to reset. The faction going to move on through, but Dent will shut one down as he takes down Swifty. There, he'll get shut down. A return Fighter with the double kill. The ball looking to maybe get picked up off the respawning Mindfreak players. Fighter, you see him now getting set up over onto this blue side. Now, he does get taken down. Shox picks this one up, but he gets EMP'd, running it through power right now. He's got Dents to support. Maybe going for a little cheeky throw here, and he will go to do so, but he get intercepted straight from the front. The entire team shut down. Though Fighter going to be looking to get these 2 points in, and he will. 5-1 right now. But I just want to highlight a little bit earlier, Shox went to go for that one throw point right after the power wall. He got intercepted by the player that ran directly in front of him. And look at this. I mean, straight off the spawn of that ball, an instant run in. That's how strong the slaying game is from Mindfreak.
Yeah, well, once you have the momentum going and you've got these spawns locked down, it's quite easy. And look, I use the word easy very loosely. They are up against the faction. But, you know, it is very easy to get your setup going here on comeback, and they had it going really, really well. And you can see there your kill feed is lighting up blue as Mindfreak are just slaying all over the place, making it look easy. Den's still going to work. As you can see here, Dens was on the 2-point streak. Buzzo was on 2, makes it a 3-point streak as Barney takes a fall. Blue also being shut down by Shoutcast in the background. So Fighter is now going to be diving up over that wall, throws it out, and he picks it up just off the rim. So 8-1 is your score. 2 points only required for Mindfreak to shut this down before the clock even runs out for the first half.
Den's going to be looking to maybe get this one. He's going to pass it somewhere along the line. No, it's in the hands of Luca right here as he goes to throw it out. Looking at the ball on the map. It has bounced back. Swifty picks it up. Blue now the last one alive for a moment. He now gets that in his hands. He goes for the throw in and he will be able to get it outside the map. He even turns around for a kill before he gets shut down. Finally there by Shocks. Now off the spawn, the faction need to go in for some desperate times and desperate measures, but we'll find to be able to go in for these 2 points. He's going to use that as cover and he goes in. That's going to be 3 minutes 55 to beat there in the first half.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for the faction to come back, but I mean, they're a strong team in their own right, and they are going to be on the preferred side going into the second half here. I just want to point out that Shocks, he played really slow in that S&D game, but he finished strong. 16 for 7 with a 9-point streak, Mike. That must be pointed out there. He was a freak there in the first half. Let's see if he continues the trend into the second as the faction need to come back here. 9 points down, 3 minutes 55 to come back and win this one. Otherwise, they're going to be down in the series. That series score, of course, 1-1 at the moment. So both teams just clawing at each other, trying to get the advantage here in this series. So straight off the bat, the faction are going to have the advantage, throwing it out just to get that momentum straight off the spawn here, and in less than, what was that, 10 seconds able to get a point on the board. Although it was only one, this is exactly what you need. We just saw there they were trying to set up for that that relay. Ooh. And it was going to be eventually shut down. Oh! Look at Luca, picks up 2, gets the smack through the smoke as well, through the EMP rather, and then he's going to be picking up the 2 points. What a play.
You're going to be seeing Barney now off the break trying to pick that ball up. Swifty is going to be going to work with these kills. He'll get shut down as well. 2 up from either team. Luca will also fall. Blue now just trying to hold the fort. He'll also drop. The ball is going to be picked up there by Fighters. Fighter moves on in through glass right now. His teammates are going to be setting up in position. The ball was attempted to be thrown through yellow, but it does get taken. So Blue now picks that one up as Swifty tries to kill the kills on the yellow rooftop. He'll go for this throw in Blue, and he won't unfortunately go in for this capture zone. No one will be there from them to go and retrieve that, but Dent has this one, and he's going to be looking like he's going to go for this run into glass. Players there to contest with him. It doesn't seem just yet, but he's going to try and bail out of there. Still staying alive, throwing the ball out, pulls back out the ASM1, pulls out the kill. His teammates are there to support as well. Shocks will run to his death with the drone in hand. The ball throwing and changing possession every second right here, but you still look at that scoreline, 10-4 with 2 minutes 20 still remaining.
Yeah, it's still an uphill battle for the faction right now, especially with Mindfreak slowly clawing back some map control, and just on with Buzzo right now. Still got that ball in hand. He's trying to hold the middle of the map. He was heavily stunned, decides to go back on the defense here. There's going to be a player jumping in front of him. There's going to be Blue taking a full, spots another one up high. That's his 2-piece. Swifty taking the 4th, tries to follow up with a 3rd. There it is. Barney also having a nap as well. A couple of players across on the roof. Gets the tags out. He's in a pretty bad position. Finally taking a fall from Luca's headshot. He's going to be trying to move out. Gets the long distance throw there. It's going to get rebounded off the building. So no points right there. Fighter is going to be desperately trying to get it out of here. Out of the danger zone, you may say. Run it across here. Out past Green. Throws over for a rebound of his own. 11-4. That is how you play defense. What you do is you turn it on its head and play attack and get a point of your own. So with 1:30 left, Mike, your score is 11-4.
The faction still trying to push on in through with Blue now, throwing it out. Now it's right next to the capture zone, and it won't be able to go for those points. Den's going to be running this out of there. He's going to have a plan to contest. He doesn't even bother to contest that one. He runs straight up past, throws the drone outside of the map. Now being back, resetting. Mindfreak have a chance to respawn and reset here at this glass alley, and you see the faction, their players are dropping as well. Barney, though, will have this ball as we do have the onslaught from Buzzard and Fighter to shut down 2 players. Luca tries to just get some shots out, but he will fall as well. Fighter's going to throw this one through glass, but unfortunately it's going to bounce back. He's going to give it a crack again, and it's going to fall straight back into his hands as he falls down. They're going to be having Barney the last alive for the faction. He's going to be running it out, but they need to start getting these points, and it is still possible, I do believe, if they can continue relentlessly getting these points. But with 30 seconds left, you don't even need to play offense anymore. You can just continue playing defense, and the map is theirs. I mean, in a couple more seconds, the map's going to be theirs anyway, and that will bring them the lead.
That fumble from Fido was highly entertaining, I may add. Look, it was a strong push from the guys at the faction towards the end, and they're going to be getting a consolation point there from Swifty right at the end. But as you can see, kill feed, lighten up blue once again. Mindfreak, the defense held here in the second half. It was always going to be a tough battle for the faction. 10-1 was your score at the half. We finished up 11-5. So game number 3 here in the series is going to go to the squad of Plantronics.Mindfreak. And Myksta, what a game it was.
I mean, I knew I was excited for this match to continue, but I was more excited than I thought I would be. That game was great. Now, it might not have been the closest scoreline like we saw in that Search and Destroy. You know, it wasn't just a couple of points difference, but the amount of just slaying power and the amount of control that Mindfreak had really showed their dominance in that respawn variant. Now, we've got to capture the flag coming up next, and that is going to be back on the faction's host, and it's going to be, I do believe, capture the flag on retreat. Just checking that quickly. Yes, that is the map. So currently it's 2-1 in favor of Mindfreak, and we do have a capture the flag coming up next. Now, can the faction turn things back around and get a map lead for themselves for us at map 5? I definitely think so. They haven't got to this position from slacking off and dropping maps. They're ready to rumble. $1,200 on the line here to at least guarantee themselves that. And I mean, these players are just getting back into this game, straight back into things. And I mean, do you have predictions? Maniac, I know we've been skirting around them throughout this entire time. We had one map played yesterday. We've seen the 2 maps today, and they've all been incredible.
They have been. Look, the faction took out that first S&D, and, you know, it wasn't exactly one-sided. The score was 6-4, but they were looking very strong. However, that comeback was very one-sided. Very different game types, though, but the momentum always plays a factor, and obviously COD is it really is a mind game a lot of the time, especially when the teams are so evenly matched. You know, the faction and Mindfreak with the experience of playing on the world stage, you know, right now 6th at champs, you know, you can't really rule that out when you're putting this into if you're doing the workings in your head. Now, the faction, of course, haven't got that same opportunity. Obviously, the young guns of the scene, but they have so much talent on their squad, Mike. I mean, they really could. You know, going into this retreat CTF, I don't know. I can't pick it. I can't pick it, Mike. So we have been skirting around the predictions. Usually I like to go out on a limb, typical inmaniac style. I do like to make a call, and then it usually goes the other way. But yeah, this one I can't do it, Mike. It's too close for me, mate.
I think that's best for not only the viewers at home, but also the teams playing. Because as you mentioned, you know, it sort of goes the other way, and you don't want to be jinxing any teams. But you never know. I mean, it could result at the end of the day just being a complete tie because of the fact that you didn't actually choose anyone. Is that possible?
Right. I don't know, Mike. I have no idea. You tell me.
I'm gonna be going with the yes.
Called out in the limb.
I think so. I think I'm going to be going with the yes, and that will, you know, we'll go from there. But I mean, you know, I'm edging forward towards this capture the flag game for the faction purely because I want to see a game 5. That is my only reason. These guys are so close that you can't pick teams based on just stats and overall gameplay. It's that close. So I just want to see the maximum amount of game type here in this game. That was only by a game 5. That means the faction need to win.
Yeah, totally agree with you. And, you know, I think that they know it as well. And, of course, you know, something that comes into play, it surely is playing on their mind, is they really want that paper, Mike. I mean, being a Call of Duty player doesn't really pay the bills much. And, you know, that's got to be a lot of pocket money for these younger players.
I think it's a little bit more than just pocket money.
Jokes aside, I mean, $1,200. And then obviously going on to into the grand final where they could potentially win, I believe, Mike, $2,400. Definitely can't sneeze at that.
you really can't. I mean, guaranteed $1,200. You can win $2,400. I mean, you can double that by simply winning 2 matches, including this one. That's all it takes. 2 matches.
Which is really amazing if you think about it. But also, I should mention, $2,400. I get paid in eSports dollars. Do you know the conversion rate at the moment? That's about 1.2 million eSports dollars. You know how much casting you have to do to get
1.2 million casting dollars? Yeah, look, you must have a really good conversion rate, because mine, that would be more around 10 million for me. So, I mean,
really?
You're either getting paid a much better rate, or I'm getting dipped somewhere along the line.
Mate, someone's jerking your chain. Esports dollars are bad, but I don't know about 10 million bad. 10 million to 1,200. Oh, that's a pretty nasty
that's
rate.
A conversion
but
rate.
in today's economy and etc.
Hopefully it can improve. I mean, currency rates always change. They're always constantly changing. So hopefully it can be a case that,
we are in the middle of the esports GFC though.
That's very true, and I mean the economy is looking great for esports. So hopefully it's going to change some stuff up.
Well, we can hope.
We can hope, and hopefully we can also hope that you can maybe join the game pretty please.
I'm trying.
So we can get that one in. You're in here. It's okay. You are in the game, and we're just waiting on one more player, and that is going to be Captain Buzzin to join the lobby. And I mean, you can really tell how excited we are for this game purely because we just can't stop talking.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, if anyone mentions esports dollars, and look, now I've got a friend being ripped off by some angry banker somewhere.
Exactly.
The esports bank. Trying to think who the esports bank would be. Somewhere in Korea, surely.
I don't know. I think every game has its own bank at this rate. So I think the Call of Duty banks over in the in North America, might have
Yanks.
Yeah, and maybe. I think it's a little bit too complicated just for a couple of casters. What about you?
I think so. I mean, I'm in casting, mate. I'm not in accounting.
Exactly.
Esports dollars, conversion rates, ripped off or not. I'll just leave it to my esports accountant.
You must be paying him some nice esports dollars.
I pay them in Twitter retweets. That's the currency. I'm pretty sure there's a direct conversion rate between
1 to
actual
1
dollars, sports dollars, and then Twitter
retweets. Sure you get that advertisement out there, that exposure.
There's some formula in there that involves Twitter retweets. To work out your esports dollar conversion rate, it's like Aussie dollar divided by X times Twitter followers on the COD axis. Words.
just continuing along the line. I want to point out that I'm pretty sure the players might have just started the game with one of them being in broadcaster and you not actually being in broadcaster. So
yeah, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, so I think you're going to be playing in place of Buzzin. So I wish you luck with that. And,
okay.
Hopefully you can play to that standard.
I went to champs as well, mate. We've both been on the same world stage. I can pick up the game, surely.
I really don't think that's going to be the case.
I don't think that's going to be the case either.
But on the bright side, we are just stalling over on the boring head-to-head screen. But the reason for that is because these teams are really setting up, and we really don't want to force an ad on you guys by going to a break. So what we are doing is just talking immense amount of stuff.
Of entertainment.
Yes, of entertainment.
It's a technical
That is a
word.
perfect word. Of entertainment to carry that through. Now, hopefully, you can quickly swap over to broadcaster mode, so we won't have that issue.
We're getting there, mate. We're getting there.
Yeah, I mean, there's 9 out of 12 players here in this lobby, so I'm excited. Capture the Flag Retreat is that map, and of course, once again, it is going to be Search and Destroy Riot if needed for a map 5. So that's going to be great as well. And I mean, once again, I want a map 5. I want it to go to that map 5. And to see what comes out of it in that Search and Destroy down to the wire. I'm personally hoping for round 11, map 5. Because not only that, if the faction manage to make it through the losers bracket against either Avant or Integral Nation, then it'll be a continuation again up against Mindfreak. So if they can make it back against, whichever team wins or loses, if they make it back, if it's the same matchup there in the grand final, it's going to be a continuation best of 11. And I mean, that just makes things so much more better and more entertaining and more intense and more pressure on the line for that maximum $2,400 payout there in that one. But Still waiting. Still a bunch of delays. But remember to tweet it out. Remember, of course, to follow all the CyberGamer social media outlets. You got our Facebook, facebook.com/CyberGamer Network. You do have, of course, our YouTube, youtube.com/CyberGamer.com. Our Twitter at CGAWCS, and of course, this MLG TV page. I do believe that's at the bottom left somewhere, but I really don't know now that MLG updated the channel. And of course, remember to follow my co-caster at ACO Inmaniac. He does some great work, and he really, he went to COD Champs for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. He deserves some more Twitter love right there.
Stop it, Mike. Stop.
That was an incredibly creepy voice, and you should never do it again.
Stop it, Mike. Stop. You love it. You love it, mate. That's why I'm on the big bucks. Those eSports dollars, mate. I think I'm about... What am I getting right now? It's like about 4 eSports dollars. I don't even think that converts to a cent at the current conversion rate.
Yeah, I was thinking more about 3.5, but
Oh, damn! No, I got my Twitter shout out. That's what.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we sort of played it out, but I did actually see a question there in the actual chat. Is the whole competition tonight, or is other games played at a later date? There's actually competition is actually played in a 1 match per week basis for finals. So this is the winners bracket final / loser bracket round 1 round. These teams next round will then be the loser bracket final, and the week after that will be the grand final. So it's 1 match per week, best of 5 unless it's a continuation series, and it just goes on from there. So this will be the only match for tonight, unless Avant and Integral decide to play straight after this one. But then next week will be, I guess this week we'll be back with another match, that loser bracket final, and then the week after that will be the grand final. So it's really wrapping up to a close here in the CGP Season 1 for the CyberGamer Advanced Warfare Championship Series, and I really couldn't be more excited for that one. And I think with one more player joining, we will be good to go.
Cool. Let's we're going on hopes and dreams at the moment, but we'll eventually get another player in here. Before we're going on LFS ANZ COD, looking for one for scrims. That's where we're going to be if we keep waiting. Maybe, potentially. Hopefully it won't come to that, though, and we will have the final player of the faction in here, which it is, I believe, Blue, that we're waiting on right now. And then we'll be getting this CTF on retreat underway. And of course, this could potentially be, as we know, the last game here of the series. And if the faction are able to clutch it, we'll be going into Game 5 on next S&D to see who takes out this one. The winners bracket final here in the CGP finals, Mike, where they're going to have a guaranteed $1,200 on to play for that $2,400 in the grand final. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen. Both teams have been playing amazingly well so far, as we've seen throughout this series. Those of you who did catch or know of game number 1 yesterday was won by Plantronics.Mindfreak. The S&D, as we came into game 2 at the beginning of this stream tonight, was taken out by the faction 6-4. We then did have our comeback Uplink, which, of course, went fairly favourably to the guys in Mindfreak. 10-1 was the halftime score, very convincingly to Mindfreak. Then, of course, we finished up, I believe, was it 14 or 15-5? Still in favour, of course, to Mindfreak. So looking very good to sweep the remainder of this series. But the faction, as always, could be coming back here in CTF. Myksta, Look, I got to admit, the nerves are really getting to me now because I'm aching to see who's going to take this one. Now, this is a big deal, man. This is a big deal. This is a lot of money. It's a lot on the line for both of these teams.
Yeah, and I mean, I know we've had more waiting screen than actual games, but can we just highlight once again on the point that every time we get into these games, when we finally do get into them, they've always been top caliber games to represent the CGP season. Now, I do want to just go off topic slightly for a minute for all the people that are tweeting me regarding a midweek. There is no midweek competition this Wednesday, unfortunately, due to some various things that popped up, but there will be one next week. So I do apologize for any inconvenience on that, but they will. There is no midweek on that one, but I'm sure Does Play have you covered in that regards. And let's sort of highlight back here. We've got the players here in this game: Luca, Swifty, Barney, and Blue taking on Dens, Shocks, Fighter, and Buzzin. Call lineups from both these two teams. All top caliber players here in this one, and I mean, they've really shown why they came into this final series, seed 1 to 2. They made it into the winners bracket finals, chase up against each other. Give me a highlight from each of these players, and from each of these teams, and tell me more.
Look, if you want some more entertainment, Mike, I can deliver.
I don't know. You're a little bit of a jester, I will admit, but I'm putting the pressure on here.
I'm kind of wishing we had the cams on now, mate. I'll be doing a little jig for you and everything. Might even try some interpretive dance. Anything right now? No, seriously speaking, though, getting into what we've seen so far tonight, I mean, it goes without saying that the faction in their S&D game looked amazing, and of course, standout there for me would have to have been Barney. I mean, just across the board, he played really, really well. He's clutched a couple of rounds there for his team, and I think it might have been, was it Barney or Blue? I think it was Barney who got that 3v1, almost picked up the ace against Mindfreak in one of those final rounds. You might be having to correct me here, Mike, but I just know that was easily it would have to have been the play of that map there, and just obviously that would have helped the faction clutch that map and obviously keep them in this one against Mindfreak, who have been looking really well. And in contrast to that, I mean, it wasn't a standout, but something to mention is Den's use of the IMR in Detroit in that S&D again. I think that's something to point out because you don't really see him rock that. It's nice to see a little bit of a mix-up. Obviously, we usually running a subby role or mixing up a little bit in S&D, but IMR and then sticking with it, both on... I think he used it on a little bit of attack. He did switch over to the ASM1 a couple of times, but still something to mention that might have been a little out of the ordinary. So, they were my two little things to point out of what I've seen so far. What about yourself, Mike? What stood out for you, or what's been the play that you've seen so far?
In terms of this overall series, my one play might not be I'm going to call it as a skill play, was Fighter's play in the Uplink comeback just then when he tried to throw the ball through glass. That is my ultimate highlight play. I don't think he can ever be beat. I think...
Fumbling Fighter.
Fumbling Fighter. There you go. You're the man with all the names.
Hashtag fumbling fighter.
I think we need to get that trending. And of course, another reason for one of the delays is because of the fact that they do need to reset the lobby. Blue is unfortunately just unable to connect to the actual game itself. So we're going to just reset that quickly and going from there. So hopefully that should be moments away from starting. And we got the Fumbling Fighter hashtag going on as well. So we do appreciate for you all for sticking around, by the way. We do know it's definitely is tiresome and quite frustrating waiting through all these lobbies. Trust me, we've been there. We know what you're feeling right now. But this match is worth the wait. Plantronics.Mindfreak taking on the Faction AU. Once again, no breaks in this stream. And I mean...
And we're feeling the pressure.
and we're feeling the pressure. I'm still nervous in excitement for this game because we're hyping it up so much, and it's so far been delivering.
It has been when they play. Well,
they might play once every hour, but they still play, and they play some great games.
This is actually an elaborate ploy to build suspense. Like, everyone in the chat's like, oh my god, let it play. What's taking so long? People could be confused into thinking that's frustration, but it's not. It's just they're excited, Mike. They're excited. That's the way I like to take it. They're excited for the match that is hopefully, it's potentially going to conclude with our next map. Again, CTF on retreat is going to be our next one. Or, again, it could be going to that Game 5, which we'll be seeing another S&D where the faction might be coming back to take out this series. Who knows? We don't know because they're not playing yet.
But it is okay because you are, of course, entertained and comforted by the voices of course, a maniac who's joining me and
entertain you. Yeah, don't worry, kids.
I don't know how you match that perfectly to the song, but it's always a valiant attempt. But songs. I definitely don't think you should quit your day job. I just want to put that out there before you continue.
Whoa, Mike! Whoa! I practiced that for 3 hours before going live. Just that one line.
Well, I did give you 3 hours notice, so I'm sure you would have.
Well, I think it's been about 3 hours since we played our last game. Pew, pew, pew. So I think that was the practice just there. But, you know, look, I mean, if you guys do the singing, my new album coming out next month.
Cool. It's called A Maniac Quits His Day Job, for those
Pretty
wondering.
much. Maniac's going to fail the...
I have also invited you, by the way, so
no,
hopefully...
Lies.
I have, actually.
Oh, he has. Better get on that invite then, hey?
He definitely just called me a liar and then got proven wrong once again. But it's okay because you are not the last one to join. We are still waiting on Blue, and he will be joining momentarily. Ideally, they reset the game for him, so hopefully he'll be in here. Hopefully, if one can pray and one can... If there is a COD God, he will allow this to happen quite easily for this one. And... yeah, he's not in here just yet. But... on the bright side, we're still determined for no ads, right? So with this, let's talk a little bit about the things happening in the future here at Maniac. We've got plenty of things. We've got the conclusion of our CGP League, but we're talking about that quite often, right? Well, you did mention about the ACL events coming up, you know, the ACL cast-off, ACL Brisbane. And, you know, let's touch on to what we can, or what you can talk about through that event. I mean, what's coming up in the world of our exciting LAN events?
Well, I can't tell you too much, because Mr. Vanzetti, ACL Vans, probably won't be too happy. But what I can tell you guys is that we have a lot of support for our first event of 2015, ACL Brisbane, which the official hashtag, for those who don't know, is hashtag ACL Briz.
I always get what happened to the ACL Brisbane? That was the initial hashtag, was it not?
Look, ain't nobody got time for that, Myksta. ACL Briz. Look, we've only got 140 characters. You got to just make it as short as you can. So ACL Briz still lets people know what's up, and you can rep that shit.
That's unfortunate because I was actually the first one to use that hashtag this year, because last year it was still used around as ACL Brisbane, so it had all the tweet history from that event. Then you had it once again for this one when I brought that back, and you guys started using it too, and you're just demolishing all that history by changing the hashtag. And let's get into broadcaster mode before they get angry at us. But yeah, you're demolishing all that history of just the ACL Brisbane hashtag. I am quite disappointed.
Look, what you do is you collapse the old structure so you can build a new one in its place. That's the analogy for what's happening with the hack. I mean, I know you were very heavily attached to it. You were emotionally attached to that hashtag, and I get that. If you need a hug,
broadcaster,
get over it. Like I'm here for you, Mike. I'm here for you, but that's just. This is how it is. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You took a good 2 minutes of me subtly saying broadcaster mode to swap on over, but he
No, because I knew. See, I knew there was no point. See, they still took a good 10-15 seconds afterwards.
Well, technically, no, the 10-15 seconds was them to message me to ask you to actually change on over.
No, lies.
So it was. I have photographic proof of this accusation. So right now, we are finally entering. I can make my tweet saying we are entering into this game, and I have just tweeted that one. Capture the flag retreat. I hope I really haven't jinxed that and someone times out. Either way, we have 2-1 being the series lead. Mindfreak taking out both the respawns so far, maps 1 and map 3. The faction taking out the search and destroy, but it is back on their host, and I'm confident that we will be seeing a map 5 purely because I want to see it. And I think that's reason enough. So, let's get into this game. 8 players are loaded into this game. Capture the flag retreat. A maniac, take it away.
Mike, I just want to say to start things off, hopefully your will shall be done and we'll be seeing a game 5. But that's all going to depend here on this CTF on retreat. I just saw it's on with Luki, who's going to be running straight into towers. He's got the ASM-1 out ready to go to work, but instead he's going to be dropped instantly as Buzzo and Shox take down Luca and Swifty respectively. I've just jumped over to Buzzo, who's going to be taken down by Barney as well. So we've got kills across the board for all of the faction except Luca, who's currently going 0 for 1. Barney was just dropped for himself, and we've got the first flag pull of the game. Blue's going to be picking it up as Fighter at the other side of the map also tries to make a run, Blue looks like he's going to be under pressure, but taking down Dance just here at the top of Hotel. He's going to be running across the map right now, straight down the middle. He's not going to be challenged. He needs to watch out for those pool rocks, of course. He's got Shocks coming up around the corner. He does have the bow, the weapon you want to challenge him right here. He needs to just watch it. There's going to be a player from the faction on the defense of that flag carrier right now. Cross map, Shocks going to be challenged. Gets the tags out on 2 players, but Luca is eventually going to shut that down. Picking up 1 before stopping the teammate. He's too hot to handle right now. Both flags still out, Mike, and we've got a bit of a stalemate on our hands right now.
We do, but Swifty was charging forward for this flag. Now was able to take down the flag carrier. The flag still is in play. It now should be picked up there by Buzzin as Luca has the other one back in the caves. He's going to be chucking a couple of EMPs out. The player's going to carry it and contest it, but he actually will get shut down, and the player should go in for a return, but no, they're able to get the kills in the back. Two of the players from the faction rushed forward desperately to get that flag back in their hands, and I mean, you look at this, 90 seconds in, 2 flags are being held. 1 for Blue, 1 for Buzzin. They've got the opposing team flagged. It's still a stalemate situation. No one's going anywhere, and they're just focused on hard defense.
Look at this big wraparound here by Luca, though. I thought there was going to be a bit of action, but he was shut down. Arnie also taking a fall, so expect Mindfreak to be able to capitalize off this, and indeed he does. Buzzo activating that boost, and glad he did. He tried to go in.
Oh! Gets taken down, Fighter.
He's going to be eventually shut down there. Oh my god, Mike, I hope you were following that action there as we saw Mindfreak able to eventually clutch that point there. I can't believe the clutch play out of Swifty to shut it down just for a moment, but it wasn't going to matter. Mindfreak getting our first point of the round after a very long stalemate.
But look at that, the faction answer straight back and get a point back for themselves as well. 2.5 minutes on that clock, and we've got a cap in from both of these two teams. Dens gets a double kill there as Shocks is going to be running this flag. He does get shut down, the flag looking to possibly be returned here as we do have Fighter now picking this one up. Now Buzzin rotates over to go, a little bit of defense, and you do see him right here getting shut down, unfortunately. Now Fighter is going to be trying to run this one. He's got his teammates support, but you got to keep in mind that, you know, the opposing flag carriers on the other side of the map as well. So you got Luca with one, Fighter with the other. 2 players, you know, watching each other. And I mean, look at the Mindfreak side. They've got more players on that defense defending that flag carrier and then just picking off these kills. We did have Barney, of course, getting shut down there by Dent. Still on board with Dent. He sees Swifty. He takes him down like it's nothing, and he's going to be just assisting his teammate in holding and securing that flag.
Yeah, and Luca's just got to watch himself. Buzzo's dancing around him right now. He's going to get shots out on Swifty, taking one down. But Luca, the flag carrier, trying to run at the back. Shock's going to shut down Buzzo. Challenging once again. That is 3 players down for the faction. Expect the guys of Mindfreak to capitalize off that. Of course, they do get the return and then get the cap. Fighter running that one in before being shut down by Blue. Now, watch out for this return push from the guys of the faction. Luca able to clean it up out here with his teammate just jumping over the wall. That's going to be Barney being shut down very quickly. Luca decides to do the bait and switch one and back through to the pool wall, but unfortunately, Mindfreak are ready and prepared for it. Indeed, they are also setting up this relay. Shocks running past pool rocks. He's going to be challenged, decides to just stomp down into the pool, taking a dip, cooling off before he goes in for the hot challenge. He's got a lot of support here, heavily stunned, but he's going to be eventually, after a little bit of a jumping jackrabbit play style, eventually diving that flag in to make your score 3-1. So, look, Mike, it must be pointed out, I did not expect to see a 2-point game. Now, that is such a small gap in, I guess, all of Call of Duty when you think about it, but with these two teams, that is a massive gap, especially after the first round when you saw such a big stalemate situation between both teams, not only once, but twice, and now it's just on a roll towards Mindfreak.
And you see Fighter's going to put in another flag, going to make it a 3-point lead. 4-1 becomes the overall score, picking up those kills. The kill feed just going up red right now. Fighter with a huge double kill. They're just going to focus on defense for the remaining 5 seconds. But that's only the first half of play here at Maniac. We've still got the second half to come. Now, while a 3-point lead for these caliber teams might be something to say and to speak for the way Mindfreak are playing right now in these respawns, the sides are going to swap. We're going to have another full 5 minutes of action to come your way, and that could be the difference. I mean, if they can step it up this game, 3 caps can easily be achieved. You saw Mindfreak do it on one end. Now, maybe to see the faction doing it on the other, but I want to jump on board with them first. I'm feeling Swifty to open up with a nice play. He's going to be rocking the bell as well. A Maniac, let's see how he does.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what he does as well. He's going to be spawning up high, running out in front. You got a blue running point for him. A lot of nades out. Let's get those shots cross map. He's already going to be pretty heavily tagged here. As you can see on your mini map, though, a big push up the pool side with one player right outside of Rocks. That's Luca trying to pick it up. He's got a lot of tags with that ASM1. Swifty coming in with the bow to pick up the 2Bs to clean things up. Then Luca going to get that final player there. Looks towards the cave just to make sure no one's spawning there. Indeed, that's where they were going to be spawning. He's going to be running out the side, but going to be shut down. The flag was in the hand of Swifty, but all are dead from the faction. As still Mindfreak with the very aggressive push off the spawn. You saw it, the kill feed light up nothing but red, as that's going to be the spilled blood of the faction as they go into work right now. Dent picks up 2, tries to get 3. Blue says no. Finally coming back. Blue needs that kill as well. Currently going 7 for 16 right now. Not his typical style of play. Shocked. Got the flag in hand. 9 for 9. He's on that 3-point streak and is hopefully going to be getting a cap on the board for his team as well. But look at the rotation from Blue. Needs to watch himself. Blue is down low. And of course, we did see Den's up high just before. Flag out for both teams right now. And it is going to be a little bit of a stalemate once again. But Blue's eventually going to be shut down. Swifty responding by taking down Dens and Mike. As you can see here, going into the second half, the faction trying to stay in this series. There is action all over the place. It
really is. The flag was picked up there by Shox as he did get taken out, so the flag has been returned. Both flags here back at base, but there's 3.5 minutes still on this clock, and it's 4-1. Mindfreak still in that lead. No caps have been had in this second half itself, and the faction are really starting to get desperate because they need 3 caps. 1 cap a minute, sure. It seems like it can be done quite easily, doesn't it? But against a team like Mindfreak, getting caps in is hard as it is. 3 caps? It's going to be all that much more difficult. Swifty, you see, tries to pick up the flag, runs a couple of meters, gets taken down. His teammates there to assist, he gets taken down. Blue goes for a shot, he gets taken down. Barney goes for a shot, he gets whacked down by his brother.
Well, not many people see it this way, Mike, but the faction are up against the 6th best team in the world, going by Call of Duty champs. Like, this is a big deal for them, and you know, this is the competition due to all these restrictions that have now come into play with a lot of LAN organizations, ACL included, with their age restrictions. This is one of the few competitions that they can still play in, so you know, it's a big deal to prove themselves. And you know, something to mention is that even if they don't win this series, Mike, they've got themselves a guaranteed 3rd place. They've got the $400 in the back pocket. You can't argue with that, but as I said, they really want to take this one out. It means a lot to both teams, but arguably you could say it means a lot more to the faction as they are still on the proving ground here in the ANZ COD scene. They know that they have made a name for themselves and they really want to bring it home right now.
That they do. 5-2, 2 minutes on the clock, buzzing with a flag, and that's not something I'd really think I thought I'd be saying quite often. Shox takes down Barney, Fighter takes down Luca, just charging through the middle and looking for this kill, turns around through the courtyard, and he will be looking for it, but he finally does get taken down. Now this is the opportunity for the faction to maybe put one on the board here for this half, and they're going to be running it straight through, entering now into the hotel. They should be able to get this cap in, and look at this, they're setting up for this relay. This is the important part. Now, Barney does get taken down, but they're going to be looking at the remainder of their players to maybe go huge here. Luke tries to push out. Blue will get taken down. Barney gets taken down. Swifty got taken down originally. And, I mean, these kills, they could have worked off these relays, but Mindfreak are just making it difficult.
Buzzo especially, straight off the spawn, he got insta-killed. And look at your kill feed right now. All of Mindfreak going to work. Buzzo 26 for 11, Fighter 25 for 14. In fact, across the board, positives everywhere. Barney, unfortunately, almost into those triple negatives, along with Blue as well, just over double. These guys really need to pick up their slaying abilities right now. Swifty, the only man going positive for the squad right now. They want to pick it up. Look, they need 3 caps just to even it up with 50 seconds left. I don't think it's going to happen. Mindfreak looking so strong, very dominant throughout this entire series, especially here in the second half of CTF on retreat. 3-6, easy to score right now. Buzzo, 27 for 12. Huge plays by them. Big chips for the entire Mindfreak squad. Some of you guys out there would say Luca, he's trying to, you know, at least get the consolation cap towards the end. Dens is going to shut that down. It's all Mindfreak right now, Mike.
It is, and I mean, that's going to be all over Red Rover. 6-3 is looking to be your final score line, unless Swifty can get that last second in. No, he won't be able to. So 6-3, 3-1 being your overall series. Plantronics.Mindfreak have now advanced to the grand final of the CyberGamer Advanced Warfare Championship Series, CGP. finals match for Season 1. I'm excited for that, but the faction aren't over it. Aren't out of this competition yet. They're in the winners as well. That was the winners bracket final that you just saw played out. So they're now going to go into the losers bracket to play the winner of Avant and Integral Nation. Now, they're not going to play it tonight. They're going to play it in the coming weeks. The coming week for the losers bracket final, the grand final after that. But the thing to note is that the faction have guaranteed themselves at least $400. Plantronics.Mindfreak have guaranteed themselves at least $1,200. That's a pretty big jump. Now, all it takes for Plantronics.Mindfreak is to take one more win, and they will secure themselves $2,400 and the title of champion for the CGP Season 1. And inmaniac, with all that said and done, what are your thoughts to wrap up this series?
My thoughts are that we waited a long time for the series, but it was well worth the wait, especially the performance that Mindfreak put on the end, or indeed both teams put on in the end there. Mindfreak able to come away with it, and as you've said, guaranteed themselves at least $1,200 in the faction, of course, at least getting $400. I mean, top three, of course, in the championship series, CGP. I mean, prestigious competition, and don't forget, they could eventually come back. Nothing's out of the question right now for both of these squads. They may indeed be seeing each other again in the grand final, which wouldn't that be a treat? But, you know, to indeed wrap things up, Mike, I mean, look, you got two of the most highly skilled teams in the New Zealand Call of Duty scene. They played to their reputations, it must be said. Look, I must say, I wanted to point out a couple of players, one for each side. Let's do that. I mean, Buzzo was a real surprise there towards the end. We saw it was Fighter and CGAWCS both lit up in that comeback uplink, but I think overall throughout the series, probably Buzzo from Mindfreak, 30 for 13 to finish things up there. That 2.31 KD on the other side of things. It's hard to pick a player. Swifty was the only man to crack into the 20s in that last game, 23 for 24. But overall, I'd probably have to give it to Barney. He played pretty bad in that final game, but throughout the series, he was playing pretty much as good as you can expect from one of the best teams in Australia. So, you know, there's my two players who stood out in this series. And something to mention is keep an eye out for all of these teams in competitions, especially Mindfreak, who will no doubt be competing in our LAN scenes coming up. So that's all I got for you, Mike. It was an exciting series. What are your thoughts on it?
I think that we saw an amazing series. We didn't catch map number 1, unfortunately. All we know is that Mindfreak took it out, but judging from what we saw, all I know, I can tell you, I can guarantee you that it would have been a great map. For map 2, that Search and Destroy, once again, it was great. You know, went round for round. Faction had a lead, though, from the beginning, able to take it down. Then we swapped over into Uplink, and of course, you can't go over Fumbling Fighter there at that glass area of comeback. But you know, while that may have made my day, that wasn't the actual result that got them the win. They got some nice teamwork and some nice captures, some nice passes and some nice kills overall to get them a great victory and an intense victory at that. Of course, being able to get those first 10 points within 3 minutes 55 seconds. Then we went over that capture the flag once again, of course, having quite a few delays in between the maps, but we did have, you know, that capture the flag retreat. Always in Mindfreak's game, they played it convincing. They just showed why they haven't technically lost a game that they've played to completion. And I think that says it all so far, because of the fact that, you know, they've also barely dropped maps overall. In terms of the overall scheme of things, I want to say it's more around a 30, I guess if you add these ones, 35 to 7 mark ish, approximated, in terms of maps won to maps lost. So that's quite an impressive stat. And with that, I'm going to leave it at that as we end up tonight's broadcast. So a big shout out to all those who did stay on throughout the night, through all the delays and whatnot. Once again, we told you it was going to be an interesting series and one you wanted to wait for. So, you know, we're definitely satisfied with that, and we hope you were too. But once again, remember to follow all the CyberGamer social media outlets. You got our Facebook, facebook.com/CyberGamer Network. You got our YouTube, youtube.com/CyberGamer.com.au, our Twitter at CGAWCS.au, and of course this MLG.tv page as well. Of course, remember also follow my co-caster at ACL Maniac, and that marks our production and our event, our CGP Winners Bracket final for tonight. And yeah, I'm Myksta, joined by a Maniac. This is the Tonight Show, and we're out.